I feel like every time I say this, not just say this, every time I've been talking about Usman, excuse me, I've ruled against him, and he's proven me wrong. I think every time, I
keep going with it, man. He keeps on making me look good.
Yeah.
He's good.
I know I'm not saying he's not good. I have a ton of respect for him. I really like the guy. Like, we saw him at Mohegan, I think last year sometime, right before he fought T. Wood or right after he fought. I think it was before he fought T. Wood. So maybe close to 2 years ago.
Just think about
He's
that
good,
fight.
man.
Just think about that fight, though. That fight with Woodley.
Yeah, he just dominated it.
He dismantled Woodley.
Yeah.
T. Wood can wrestle. T. Wood is athletic. T. Wood is fast. And he just dominated him.
Yeah.
Anywhere he wanted the fight to be, it was. Anything he wanted to happen, it happened. He just made T. Wood look bad. And that's not easy to do because Woodley's good, man. He's a stud.
Yeah, I think that T. Wood fights in spurts. And Usman didn't fight in spurts that fight. He fought, got the takedown, dominated the position, and T. Wood just didn't have enough spurts. Now, I also go back to sometimes when guys have been a champion for a long time, you kind of see them get a little bit complacent. Oh, none of these guys can beat me. Now they just got to work their way back, and sometimes they come back to the title, sometimes they don't. I mean, we saw it with GSP, a little bit complacent with the Matt Serra fight. Other things on his mind. Just that
was a lot of other things.
But they let the outside world creep in.
Yeah, but
when
hold on. You're going to that. GSP had just won the title. He won the title at UFC 65 against Matt Hughes.
Yeah,
he lost it to Matt Serra at UFC 69.
So that was his first title defense?
First title defense.
Oh, wow. I thought he had one or two in between there.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So when you sit
well,
there,
see, this is why.
I don't think he got complacent. It was everything that was happening in his life. It was all the pressures of being the champion and everyone coming in, and then management, and he wasn't getting along with them, and they were doing things that he was upset with, and bad things happen.
God, this is why we work so well together. You can say things like that because I thought it was like I thought he had one or two fights in between,
Couple in between, yeah.
Then he just got comfortable. Like, okay, look, this is how it's gonna be. Because you could see from the first time he fought Matt Hughes to the second time he fought Matt Hughes, he was a completely different fighter.
Oh yeah,
confidence level was through the roof, and I thought
exactly.
After,
no confidence in one,
yeah,
and confidence just at its peak,
yeah,
in the second one,
yeah. Okay, so to go back to Usman, because we got off track, of course we did. Usman and Masvidal. Can Masvidal keep it standing, and can Usman take his shots?
Man, I'll tell you what, I look at what Usman did in the Colby Covington fight, and I was really impressed that he was so confident in his stand-up that he didn't even try for the takedowns.
Yeah.
And that, to me, leads to the point of he's becoming more and more comfortable in that position. But I would always say you never fight another man's fight. And if you're gonna face George Masvidal, you're gonna say that, look, he's a stand-up guy. He's a guy that wants to be on his feet, and he lands beautiful combinations. He's not a one-punch knockout artist. He breaks you down with combinations and then can land the one shot that can put you away. Mm-hmm. But it's his ability to break you down with landing all of these beautiful shots that he goes up and down with. I think that Usman needs to take George Masvidal down to win that fight. I think he's got to take him off his feet. He's got to rough him up on the ground. He's got to slow down what George does, and he's got a very good chance of winning that fight. I would say he's the favorite going in. But Masvidal has all the experience and tools necessary to win that fight also. And that's what makes it, an intriguing fight is both guys are so good at what they do, but Usman's wrestling is good. Now, I know Masvidal's wrestling defense is outstanding.
Yeah.
It is. But it's the way you come into him or allow him to come into you. Same as you counterpunch, you counter wrestle. You allow a guy to take those shots and come in with his attack, and instead of just, defending, I'm going to move myself and drop levels and come into him and use his energy coming forward to try to do damage. that's the time to try to take Masvidal down, because when your hands are coming through, you don't have the ability to get those underhooks, and anybody can be taken down. I don't care how good a wrestler you are. Anybody can be taken down in MMA given the right situation and circumstances. So Usman has all the ability to take Masvidal down. He's just got to work at the timing and when he's going to shoot that attack into him. He does that, he can get him down and get him down without burning a lot of energy. I honestly look at, Usman, there's something special about a guy that he carries that big of a frame, that big, that much muscle, but he really doesn't, he doesn't slow down much. Even you can take a look when he was doing the grappling with Woodley. I mean, it was impressive how much he was doing in certain aspects of that fight, and then getting back to his feet and taking him right down again. That shows that his, cardio is just incredible as far as he can continue to push a pace on somebody that can push that person to the point where they're exhausted and he can still go. And anybody that's going to stand, fight with Colby Covington, he brings a pace. And I'm not saying Colby was getting tired in that fight. I'm not saying Usman was. I thought they were both incredible. Mm-hmm. So it's a great fight, and that's the kind of fight you want to see.
No, I think so as well. He's gonna have a hard time holding him down, though. There was moments in the fight when T Wood lost the takedown. He just kind of like succumbed to just being on his back. Okay, this is where I'm gonna be. I think Masvidal has spent his whole career with people trying to take him down, and so his main focus has been on him trying to get back up. And I think he probably is going to be a lot harder to hold down than I think T Wood was. He probably will be as equally, if not a little easier, maybe to take down though. But he'll be able to get up, which makes the fighter work a little bit harder every time. Once you get the takedown and you're able to dominate the top position for a while, the person on bottom is a deflated fighter versus the person who was on top doing the work, doing the damage. And that person on bottom was carrying your weight, whereas the person on top is really just floating. You're not really expending a lot of energy except for when you're putting in the work to try to get them out of there. With the ground and pound, I mean, sure, you're putting work and positioning and all those things, but you're not having to carry someone else's weight. And I feel like that plays such a factor. Now, if he takes Masvidal down against the cage, I think Masvidal is able to hop back up to his feet. I mean, we saw it in the Damian Maia fight. I mean, Masvidal was able to get up a couple times with someone like him. And that's just a different level of like being able to get up. Once someone like Damian Maia gets you down, like very rarely do people get up. Just position wise. And if they do get up, it's usually when he's helping them up after he's tapped them. So it's that position. It's true though. It's like that positioning of someone like Damian Maia had a hard time with him, and Masvidal was able to get back up to his feet. So I think if Usman, once somebody gets up, the pressure becomes on them. It's like someone talking to you the whole time, and I'm sure Jorge probably will talk to him in the cage as well. It adds more pressure. Like, shit, if I don't hold him down, this guy's so relaxed. He's talking shit. He's going to knock me out. Like, I mean, there's things that go through fighters' minds while you're fighting. And that adds to more stress, and especially when you can't hold someone down. And that was your game plan. Your game plan was to take them down and do work on them, from the top position down. And if that doesn't happen and you have to make that call that audible, it stresses you out a little bit more, and it starts to get to your nerves, and then it also starts to make you gas a little bit sooner. And I continue to say that Usman is one of those guys that tends to slow down as the fight goes on. But honestly, his T Wood fight, and don't shake your head, no.
Come on,
his
man.
His T Wood fight and his fight with Colby Covington shut me the hell up, man.
Okay,
I mean,
there you go. That's what I like. That's what I like. A little, little humility there, and saying I was wrong. I know those words. I didn't
quite go that far.
Coming out of you.
I didn't quite go that far. No, but yeah, I was wrong. All right, I was wrong. No, I was wrong. Like he had put on a great performance. Dominant performance, and I gotta quit like kind of going against him. I really thought Colby was gonna push the pace to the point where Usman was gonna be able to keep it going, but I also thought there'd be a lot more wrestling in that fight, and I think that's kind of where Colby made his mistake. He should have tried to wrestle him a little bit more, and Usman's built like a Greek god, man. And I think anytime you have a guy that has that amount of muscle, you've got to make them wrestle. You got to make them put the work out. And sure, he's comfortable in those wrestling positions. but he's also not comfortable in having to defend or having to get the takedown. And then when he doesn't get it, out of the break, taking shots. What fight was it that we saw? It was it was the Chris Cyborg fight. Every time Julia Budd went to the clinch, we were like, okay, look, this is where she needs to be. Have her press against the fence. But every time Cyborg broke out of the clinch, what did she do? She made her pay on the break, whether it was a punch or a kick or a knee, made her pay. And that makes them a little bit more cautious to engage with them, because then it's forcing them, even when they do engage, it's forcing them to want to hold on to it even tighter, because they don't want to, out of the break, catch a punch or a kick or anything. And I feel that if Usman struggles to get him down, and Masvidal can make him pay every time out of the clinch. Like, as soon as they get ready to break, body kick. As soon as they make a break, boom, punch. I mean, anything along those lines, knees, anything in that area, he's gonna cause some problems for Usman. I'm not quite going against him yet. I think I'm gonna get closer to the fight. I am a little bit of a homer when it comes to.
You're going Masvidal.
I'm a little bit of a homer going to Masvidal, only because he has come into his own. The history of Strikeforce and training with, I was scheduled to fight him a couple times and the fight fell through. But I just remember the history of, I think that calf kick is going to be huge. That'll slow down the takedowns as well. And so at least the takedown attempts make it a little bit harder for him to drive into the body, press him against the fence if you can't put any weight on that leg. And so there's a lot of things that I think Masvidal has the experience and the tools to do to Usman. But, Usman's proven me wrong the last two fights for sure. I had him winning a couple of the other fights that he was scheduled in. But the last two, I thought for sure, Woodley's going to stuff his takedown, and Woodley's too fast on the feet. Woodley throws straight combinations. I mean, he's gonna kind of do what he did to, like, Koscheck. I thought kind of that field, like, I'm going to stuff your takedown, circle off, and land some clean shots. And out of the break, I'm going to knock you out with the speed and the power. That shit didn't happen. that shit did not happen.
That was another fight.
Yeah, I was just like, man, what? I was like, where did this guy come from? And then I was like, oh, Colby's gonna press the pace and wrestle him and fucking make him work, fill up his muscles with blood. It's just gonna be heavy armed. He won't be able to do anything. Won't be able to strike. He's gonna get taken down, and once he gets taken down, it's all over. Nope, that didn't happen either.